Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Petite Baker. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my very favorite subjects, which is art. I was an art history student for about 2 years at a major university, and I have just heard news, well not just, but I've heard news that there is a major exhibit at a local museum, and I wanted to generate some excitement, hopefully, for this new exhibit so that you guys will go and see it as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the artist that's going to be showing, and also why this is so significant and why you guys should go and see it. So the museum that it's going to be at is LACMA. LACMA stands for LA County Museum of Art. So I live in Orange County, California, and this is going to be in LA County, California. Look it up if you are not familiar with it, but I'm sure if you're in LA or Orange County, you kind of have an idea of where LACMA might be. So the exhibit is Caravaggio. So, number one, who is Caravaggio? Caravaggio is an Italian painter. He painted predominantly in the late 1500s and early 1600s. And just to give you some background on who he is before I go into his exhibit, he was born in Italy and obviously Italian. But his dad died when Caravaggio was very little. And he died of an illness, and then later on, not too long after that, his mom also passed away of an illness. So these were times when a lot of people got, diseases and things. But yeah, he lost both of his parents. He also struggled with illness for a lot of his life. Aside from that, he is significant because he is actually known as the true painter of light and shadow. So stick that in your craw, Thomas Kinkade. Thomas Kinkade is not good art. He makes very good puzzles and very nice blankets, but he is not a real artist. So, Caravaggio has kind of the corner on that one. And the reason why is because he perfected and kind of ramped up and over-dramatized a technique called chiaroscuro, which is basically the dramatic effect of light and dark. And so he did an amazing job with that. And a really good example of that is one of my favorite paintings by him, which is The Martyrdom of St. Matthew. You can tell, this is before film, this is before cameras, this is before spotlights, this is before electric lights. This is way before all of that. And he basically creates a scene that's almost movie-like. And basically, the other thing that he did was he completely changed the subject matter that everybody was familiar with. So the Martyrdom of St. Matthew prior to Caravaggio, St. Matthew would have been obviously like the front and center character, and here he's like laying on the ground. He's not quite inconspicuous, but he's definitely not the main character of the painting. The main character is obviously this guy right here. He's spotlighted, he's front and center, he's totally he's the first one that catches your eye, and he is the murderer. And the reason why Caravaggio did this, and he did this in pretty much all of his paintings, is he created a situation where you almost identified yourself more with the sinner than with the saint. And the reason why he did that is because he himself identified more closely with the sinner than he did with the saint. And the reason why is because Caravaggio was a very angry person. He attempted murder once, and he actually succeeded in murder another time. So he was known to start duels with people and actually whip out swords and come to blows. He was a very jealous man. He was not known to be a very friendly person, but he was this masterful painter. And he was being commissioned by the church, and he was supposed to have this reputation of being a good guy, and the truth is that he just was not. And there's so many different accounts as to whether or not he was truly remorseful for that kind of dual personality that he was always struggling with. He was actually a very religious man, and he hated that he was like this, and he always felt very badly about it. But there's also accounts saying that he never learned from his mistakes. He was like this till the day he died. He was a terrible man, and chances are he was not truly a Christian. So we will never really know what the case is. He died when he was 38, which is remarkably young, but he did quite a bit of work while he was alive. The reason why this exhibit is so incredibly important to art history and to just the average person, actually, is the last time that this many Caravaggios was in one building in North America was 40 years ago. The amount of talks between each country, the amount of trust that this took to put this exhibit together, to curate this show, is incredible. It was originally in Canada, but prior to that, the Caravaggios, there's not too many around nowadays. They were all spread out throughout different countries, mostly in Italy, but they were in different churches, and different parts of the Vatican had control of these paintings, and to lease these paintings to other countries takes a significant amount of trust. And they've done this, and they also have about 60 other paintings, because Caravaggio influenced so many painters after him. They were actually known as Caravaggistes, and so they're going to have these awesome juxtapositions all throughout the exhibit of here's one by Caravaggio and here's one by a rival, here's one by Caravaggio and here's one prior to Caravaggio. And so you're going to get to see how he is different from everybody else and how he influenced everybody after him, and just all these amazing ideas and who he was influenced by. It's going to be an incredible show. An incredible show. And it's also going to be probably the only time you have a chance to see it in North America in your lifetime, most likely. So I highly recommend it. If you aren't too excited about painting, if you purchase your ticket to see Caravaggio, then you get to see the rest of the museum, and then you also get to see another special exhibit for Stanley Kubrick. So there's tons of incentives to go. Please, please, please go. It's really, really a big deal. And take your friends, talk about it, discuss the paintings. I'm going to be doing another critique of the exhibit after I go, so I'll be talking about which paintings moved me the most, which ones I got to see, and probably get a little bit bigger history on some of these paintings that are so significant to art history. I didn't want to run too long, so hopefully you guys will forgive me for totally just shrinking it down so far. Caravaggio is rich in history. I would highly recommend watching Simon Schama's Power of Art on him. He has a really interesting life, a very tragic life, but very interesting. He was kind of like, almost like a Van Gogh in a way, just how sad it was. And I suppose that's it for now. So I will see you next time, and hopefully you guys will make it out to the exhibit and I'll get to hear your thoughts on it. So until next time, guys, have a good night. Talk to you later.